Just another little job I'm doing. So I had this leftover material from a carport I built years ago. My dad gave this to me, and then Dad bought a whole lot of scrap steel, and there was all these offcuts and bits of plate and so forth. So this new table is, it's not a big table for this sort of, I don't have enough room for a big table, but it's big enough for, it's a reasonable size job. So the idea is I want to put a vise over here. I've got the vise, and I don't want it on a bench. So weld this onto here. I'll drill some extra holes on there for dynabolts on the four corners, so I can put them into the concrete, and then I can put I've got another bit of plate there for the vise to mount onto. But it's just obviously you can do this sort of work without a table like this, without any table at all. You could do something, but just having these pins there that keep that square, and these pins here and here that keep that square, and I can just use my magnets to hold the base square, and my little saw that I use all the time, my bandsaw, just put it in and cut it. I was able to do other jobs while I was waiting on it, cutting. But yeah, I love having tools like this. I think they're lovely toys. Like I said, you absolutely can do stuff like this without them, but chuck in the MIG welder and so forth, and then a room to put them in. It just makes everything much easier. So I've welded this plate. Actually, this is not the one I was thinking I'd use. There was this plate was on the side of the other part of this that I cut this off, and if I'd measured up after a piece of plate, that would have been the size plate I would have cut. It's perfect for the vise. So I've drilled 4 holes in the bottom. I drilled 4 holes for the dynabolts, and these plates are welded. My welds are not world class welds, but they are going to be good enough to hold this together. I can tell you that welder compared to the old arc welder that I had. So my plan is to put 2 bits of pipe off the back of this to give it some bracing going back that way. But so far, I think so good. Getting ready now to put some legs on the back just to give it a bit of support. I think that this beam is pretty rigid anyway, but I figure I'm going to be probably wailing on this vise pretty hard. I've deliberately got a reasonable sized vise, and you do that so you can put reasonable sized things in and whack them, among many other things. So I figure if I put these outriggers onto the back, that will allow me, so I'll have 4 dynabolts, 2 on the plate on each side, and then back out here, and it effectively makes that plate 4 times longer, or 2.5 times longer, and that should give me a lot of rigidity. I think if I dynabolt this on, I think I'm pretty solid this toward me and away, laterally, because in this direction, because that's good spread on here. But I just feel that this is a little short, and actually I haven't measured it, but I think that this makes it almost square. The spread of those dynabolts is about the same as out to there. So I'm just framing this all up. I do love this jig table, this welding table. Just being able to clamp everything where I want it. I now know that the the base of this is going to be square to these feet. So I'm sure you can do this without them, but I do like a good toy. And this, I'm finding, is a very nice toy. Okay, I've cut out a V on this just to allow that to sit in. So I'll do the same on this one, and then we can jig that up and we can weld it on. So I'm back on my vice mount again. I'm not sure the last video I took, but I've welded these together. The welds are not the world's most beautiful, but they seem to penetrate all right. And I was going to dynabolt this straight to the floor, but then I have to drill holes in my floor and put bolts in, and I find I have to work with something for a while to know if it's where I want it or it's doing what I want. So I've had it sitting here for a week. Well, you know, we've had this bed being made as well. I've been thickness these yesterday, so I've been doing other work. But this has been sort of sitting here, and I wouldn't have taken long to put in the dynabolts. I've got the dynabolts, I've got the drill, but I just found myself thinking, is this going to be in the road? Is it what I want? Am I going to be happy with it where it is? And I couldn't satisfy myself. And the way I work is I don't do something like, if it's something that I'm going to G-clamp something onto something else, or I'm going to, you know, if it's something I can easily undo, then of course I'll do it. But if I'm going to drill holes in the floor of my shed and put dynabolts in it, I want to be confident that that's the right place to put it. So I was thinking to myself, if I just had a base plate, and I'm thinking how expensive it'd be to buy a piece of steel, and well, I don't know, that'd be pretty expensive, and you know. So last night I was talking to my wife, and I said, if I just had a base plate, and then all of a sudden I went, oh, I've got this great lumping piece of aluminium that I scored for nothing. This used to be the base of actually a LiDAR. I scored it. They retired this thing. It was, I don't know, $100,000 instrument, but it was old, and all the gear was old electronics, and it was not reliable. So they got rid of it, and it turned out that this was available. So I grabbed it, and this piece that's missing here, if you go back into my channel, you'll see one Mixmaster disaster where I made a new base for Melissa, my daughter's same daughter with this bed. With her Mixmaster got broken, and we machined up another one, and there's the testament to where the material came from. But this thing's riddled with holes already. It's a good 12mm, I think it's 12mm plate. Anyway, it's a good plate. You can see it's riddled with holes from everything that used to be mounted on it. Of course, I can't find holes where I want them, but I'm thinking this was free. And if I went to buy a piece of steel now, I think it would be probably 100, 150 bucks for enough plate, maybe even 200 to do this. So I'm wondering if I cut this back off, because that'll sit me a long way out from the wall if it's like this. Well, if I was to do that, we're looking like it's about 1100 millimeters. Now I could get this out to 900 if I put it where it is now, but I end up with this step. I am in two minds. So I might just bolt that onto there, and see what it's like just sitting that as it is. And if I really think makes a lot of sense, but it'd be great if I could get it, you know, 500mm further back out of the room space, then I'll cut this tail off, and that gets me that extra. I'll just cut it along here. That'd be a bit of a job to cut that at the moment. Well, at any time. I'd have to grind it, and it took me 6 grinding discs or something in an hour to cut that out. So a fairly big job. I'm not going to use a hacksaw, I can assure you of that. But maybe if I think I'll only drill 4 holes. If I drill the front 2 and the back 2, I drilled this for 4 when initially I was thinking I'd just bolt that down onto the 4, and then I looked at it and I thought, should be strong enough, but I love a good triangle. So if I had a bolt, those 4 bolts, I'm sure that that'd be holding it pretty well. And I might just put that down where I think I want it. Of course, right at the moment, I don't normally do jobs this big, so my room's pretty crowded, and these are Melissa's. They won't be in here normally. We've just been using them for this job. So that's my thinking. So if I just mark that out and drill myself 4 holes to start with, I can try it out. I'm thinking if I got rubber feet, I might even have some rubber feet. It'd stop it from sliding. But if I just put that like it is and see how stable it is, I have a feeling the floor's not completely flat. It's going to rock. So I might go and look for some rubber feet, see if I've got some. If not, I may actually buy some. And then give it a go. And that's the way I always kind of do stuff, is you have to sit on it for a while and wait and see. I just had a comment on my video on putting a digital readout onto the lathe, and buy a tripod, dude. Well, this is on a tripod. I'm just holding it because when I'm moving around, you can't do that with a tripod. Maybe what they want me to do is get a gimbal so you get less of this wobble. But it is what it is, baby. If you're on this channel, you get what you get. All right, I'll start doing something on this. I thought I should do an update. So almost as soon as I turned off the camera, I looked at this and I thought, really, I think this would be a great base for this. So I got the grinder out. I did go through about 6 grinding discs, little ones, 100mm ones, to get that off. But it only took me about 15 minutes, I guess. So I've got an offcut down here that I'll go into my stock of material, or 2 actually, that little triangle as well. But I'm now drilling and tapping holes. I drilled that one, and I'm about to tap it to bolt this down onto it, and I think I'll get 4 good rubber feet and put 1 on each corner, because I just felt that this would actually be, I can move it around if I need to. I can unbolt it from it and get it out of the road, you know. So I've got this material here. It's not doing anything else. If I need to, if I decide I want to use this aluminium for something else, I can always look for another plate. But I kind of feel like this might be just a really good use for it. So I'm going to tap and drill and tap some holes here and bolt the thing down. Okay, so drilled and tapped 4 holes. We'll score these 4 stainless soda cap screws here, mate. From the last, well no, I've still got a few left over. The job I did fixing up a thing called airbox, shipping container with a pile of atmospheric measurement instruments in it, and the roof was leaking, and so I had to drill out and re-tap all the holes. So I just grabbed all the old bolts, but that is going to be, I mean, this is the moment, clamp down on that, but this is going to be great. So I need to I will put 4 feet on it, because I'm guaranteeing that floor would rock if I put this down on it. This base would rock, and I made it so that the wide base is at the back, so it means that it's going to be back against the wall, and so I imagine that, yeah, if I'm trying to get the welder out or anything like that, I want to give myself the best opening. So that's the way it is. So now I went to the big warehouse store over here, Bunnings. I don't like Bunnings, but I'm there to buy this sort of stuff, and I bought 4 feet, and I just double-sided taped them on, because I didn't want to commit any more than that, and I suspect that double-sided tape will do the job. These are supposed to be high grip, they're reasonably thin profile, and they are reasonably soft rubber. Focus somewhere. Anyway, so I've just taken the bolts out of there. I will take this off because it's a bit heavy, drop that plate down there, and then screw that back on, and then put the vise on it. Well, there it is in all its glory. I'm not thinking that it's going to stand up to the biggest bashings that I ever want to give anything, but it is. I mean, you can get a wobble on it, but for testing out to see if that's a good place for it, I think that's going to do the job fine. I'll use it a bit and see, but if it seems like it's a really good place for it, then I might take it off the base and actually dynabolt it to the floor. But at least now I can give it a bit of a test, use it a bit, and see how it works there. So maybe there'll be an update. Maybe I'll just bolt it to the floor if it works without bothering telling anyone. But there you go.